Mr. President, in 2018, 6 years ago, I visited Venezuela, a once prosperous, albeit imperfect, democracy suffering terrible economic and political decline. As we drove around the streets of Caracas, a person from the embassy in the car said, "Take a look at something you might not notice. Notice the belts that the people of Caracas are wearing, particularly the men, and notice how long the end of the belt is, how many notches they put in the belt. The people are starving in this country because of the government of Nicolas Maduro." I told President Maduro in a meeting during that visit that the upcoming election, which was just months away, would only be credible if it was monitored and honest. He went ahead with a discredited election anyway. The result was as predicted, an exodus of millions of desperate people fleeing repression and economic collapse. A few weeks ago, Venezuela held another presidential election in which the regime had arbitrarily blocked key opposition candidates from the ballot and tried to undermine the pre-electoral process. This is an indication of what activity is going on. Venezuelan opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez eventually left the country, even though it was pretty clear from the results that we were able to glean from the Venezuelan election, he was the winner. 10 million Venezuelans peacefully had voted. Results meticulously documented by credible monitors showed an overwhelming win for this opposition candidate. Despite this, the Maduro regime refused to release results, announced that it had won instead, and arbitrarily arrested thousands of opposition supporters. And it issued an outrageous warrant for the arrest of Gonzalez, forcing him to leave the country. Enough of this madness. Enough of this outright theft of the Venezuelan voters' overwhelming choice for a better future. This week I introduced a simple two-page bill terminating all U.S. petroleum cooperation and related trade with Venezuela until the legitimate results of the election are respected. I also filed it as an amendment to the annual defense authorization bill. The entrenched regime clings to power using oil revenues depending on U.S. involvement. Under my bill, that's going to end, and so will Maduro's financial strength. It's simply that simple. Are we going to do business as usual with a dictator who ignores the results of a freely held election? I also appeal to our democratic allies in the region, including the democracies of the Caribbean. Stand resolute in defense of a sweeping and clear vote by the Venezuelan people. They cannot sit idly by for another 6 years of regime-inflicted suffering and economic collapse in Venezuela. Our neighbors in Venezuela deserve better.